Time now for the Left of Lansing Monday Musing for this May 12th of 2025. I'm Pat Johnston. Over the weekend, I did something I haven't done in years, and that's watching a rant from Bill Maher's HBO show. It came across my Blue Sky feed, and he was lauding Michigan Democratic Senator Elissa Slotkin, so I was slightly intrigued, and I watched it, and I quickly regretted it because I learned that I made the right call turning Bill off during the late Obama years when he started going on his anti-woke tirades. But apparently in last week's show, Maher applauded Slotkin for saying that Democrats have to get rid of their weak and woke image. Now, I've already talked about Slotkin's call for Democrats to end being weak, and I even agreed with Slotkin that, of course, Democrats have to start taking the battle to them. If only somebody would have been advocating such a strategy on a podcast for the past 5 years or so. I mean, as we've seen with New York Senator Chuck Schumer, he epitomizes why Democrats are viewed as weak by the country. Plus, I even agree with Slotkin that I'd like to see more American flags at all of these indivisible rallies and meetings to coincide with their pro-American views on democracy and ending the grip corporate authoritarianism has on both the MAGA Republican Party and the country. It's our country too, and we progressives are actually the ones fighting for the working class and for the Constitution of the United States. But Maher really celebrated Slotkin because of her so-called alpha stance against the progressive left. Not so much against Trump, but against the progressive left because, you see, she cusses and, oh yes, she apparently gives a thumbs up on the extreme right-wing Israeli government's wanton killings of Palestinians. And you see, that's what gets some rich, white, elitist boomers like Bill Maher upset, is how those darn student protesters are speaking out against Netanyahu while using their First Amendment rights. But Maher said all Democratic voters wanted to talk about in the last election were gender issues, when in fact, that's all MAGA Republicans obsessed about constantly because they're obsessed with children's genitals. Now, other than swearing and cussing and giving approval to the bombings of innocent women and children in Gaza, what are the actual policies? Policies that people on the Elissa Slotkin wing of the Democratic Party are proposing to help people. And how exactly are they fighting back against the authoritarianism we're seeing with the Trump regime? For example, Trump and his family are building a cryptocurrency empire. And so what's Elissa Slotkin doing to stop it? Well, Slotkin is one of a handful of Democrats backing the so-called Genius Act, which is essentially a big payday or a big payback to the tech industry's desire to set up its own private currency. Now, Slotkin did put her name up for a bill barring politicians and their families from benefiting from crypto assets like the Trump family is doing, but that bill will fail, since Republicans control the Senate and they won't dare disobey their dear leader. So then the question becomes, which way will Slotkin vote on the final bill, the Genius Act bill? You watch. She will still vote for it because that's what the tech industry and lobby demands. And sadly, that's which side she's going to vote for in the end. So if Slotkin's not standing up for the working class by ensuring a no vote on this crypto scheme bill, which is exactly what the Trump family and big tech desires, then what does she actually stand for? How is she fighting back against the Trump regime's corruption? Is this the so-called moderate stance people like Slotkin and Bill Maher are saying Democrats must take, doing whatever dear leader Trump wants? Where's the moderation in allowing Trump and his kids to receive literal bribes from foreign countries via cryptocurrency? And what exactly is the moderate position Democrats like Slotkin believe we should all take when our democracy is self-immolating right before our very eyes? These are the questions that so-called big money players in the elite Democratic Party consultant class refuse to ever answer, because that would mean they'd have to admit that moderation means giving in to the corporate donor class. We don't need performative gestures from Democrats. We need actual fighters who will push a working class agenda while taking it to the Trump regime and the corrupt MAGA Republican Party. You know how Democrats should be? If using a few swear words is all the so-called serious and moderate Democrats have, then what's the point? leftoflansing@gmail.com is the best way to reach me. Subscribe to the podcast and also subscribe to Left of Lansing on YouTube. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter, the Gram, and Facebook. Take the battle to them.